Hello folks, this is Wager Detective here. We're going to cap this game real quick. Arizona versus SMU. They're going to be playing in the Holiday Bowl. This line is Arizona plus 1.5. Arizona money line plus 106. And SMU was the dog heading into this game. Now there's a favorite minus 1.5, minus 114 on the 1.5. If you look at the over-under does sit at 54.5 in this game. Before we get into this, let's talk about the coach Brennan for Arizona. He is 0-3 in bowl games, and Arizona in their last 9 bowl games, they're 6 over, 3 under, and they're 5-4 in their last 9 bowl games. Okay, so if we look at that, okay, so in the 3 bowl games that Coach Brennan has been coach of, all 3 of those games he has lost. The average score is 18-33, falls under that number of 54.5. And if we look at Rhett Lashley, he is also 0-3 in bowl games. His most recent one was losing to Penn State 10-38 in that game, college playoff game last year. All 3 of his bowl games have gone under. So between both these coaches, they're 0-3. I'm 0-6 combined. 1 is going over, 5 is going under in the 54.5 in those bowl games for these guys. Arizona is 1-0 in this bowl game. They did win 23-20 some years back, and SMU was 0-1 in this bowl game. They lost to BYU 45-46. Head to head, Arizona versus SMU. They're both 1-1, a game apiece. First meeting was back in 1935, where SMU won 29-7, and then in the game where in 1988 Arizona edged out SMU 28-26 in that game. So there's the bowl history for both these coaches. They are 0-6 combined. Both coaches have been in 3 bowl games apiece, and they've lost all their bowl games. Let's get into this Arizona team. 9-3 on the year. They did have a 12.47 SRS, 19th in the nation in their SOS. Pretty solid. 56 in the nation with 2.55 there. I also want to mention in the 47, there's been 47 Holiday Bowls. In the last 17, 11 have gone over the total and 6 have gone under. And let's get back to Arizona on offense. They're a pretty balanced team. They're more balanced than SMU is. They pass the ball 34 times a game. They rush the ball 36 times, so they're very balanced. Average yards per game, they are 103.2 yards per game. They're led by Noah Fifta, the quarterback, who has a 64% completion percentage. He does have 26 touchdowns and 5 interceptions with a 148.5 quarterback rating. If we look at who's getting it done on the ground, Ishmael Mahdi has 4 touchdowns. Kedrick Reese-Cano has 9 on the ground, so 13 there. And then Fifta has chipped in with 3 touchdowns. Receiving, Trey Spivey has 6 touchdowns. Receiving, Chris Hudson has 4. They do have 26 in the air there, and they have 46 touchdowns from scrimmage. Defensively for Arizona, they got 78 tackles for loss, pretty solid. 21 sacks, not bad. But look at that, 19 interceptions on the year, which is absolutely amazing. And that does lead into the strength of what SMU likes to do. They like to pass the ball, as we'll get into in a little bit more in this video. Jennings does have 10 interceptions on the year. He does lead the conference or the nation in that. Arizona defensively, 10 forced fumbles, so they're pretty solid on defense if you look at this team. As far as kicking, you look at this guy, Michael Salgado Medina. He is 19 for 31 in field goal attempts, which is a 61% field goal percentage. Not real good if this game is close and it comes down to a field goal kicker. That might not be the guy that you're looking for. If we're looking at punting the ball, we do have Isaac Lovison. He does have 32 punts, only 43 yards per punt there. Okay, so let's get into schedules and results for both these teams. If we look at Arizona, again, 9-3, pretty tough schedule. If we look at the 54.5, how many games have gone over for Arizona? We could start from the top here in the Hawaii game: 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, 1-5, 2-5, 3-5, 3-6, 3-7, 4-7, and 4-8. So 4 over, 8 under in all their games this year for Arizona. They've only turned the ball over 12 times. And like I said, Noah Fifta has only thrown 5 interceptions, so he's having a pretty good year. Defensively, you look at how many turnovers they've caused this year. They've caused 28 turnovers. 19 of them for that Arizona defense have been interceptions, so they're very, very solid there. And if we look at what they've only given up 9 passing touchdowns on the year, and we look at rushing touchdowns, they've given up 16. You look at how many games that Arizona has gone this year without giving up a passing touchdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of their 12 games, they have not given up a passing touchdown. And in the other games where they have given up a passing touchdown, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, they've only given up 1 passing touchdown. So it's going to be hard pressed for there are going to be points in this game if you look at it from that aspect of the cap, and that's how Wager Detective likes to do it. Let's take a look at SMU. Okay, SMU having a pretty decent year, 8-4 on the year. They are 10.44 SRS for the 25th best in the nation. SOS 1.03, 65th best in the nation. We look at their offense. They do pass the ball 36 times a game and they rush the ball 31. So they're slightly more skewed to the pass per game than rush. And if you look at total yards per game, they are plus 28.4 yards per game there. So yards per game, Arizona is much more adept at getting yards per game. We look at Kevin Jennings. If he does have 26 passing touchdowns and 10 interceptions. If you remember the game last year against Penn State, he did have a number of interceptions. I don't trust the kid. I don't think he's a big-time a quarterback that's going to play well in these type of spots. And I just don't trust him. He is a fourth-year junior, and he does have 55 touchdown passes to 23 interceptions in 38 career starts. So in 38 career starts, he does have 23 interceptions. He does have a 146.8 passer rating, but as we said, that feeds into the Arizona defense. They have 19 of their 28 turnovers on defense have come by way of interception. If we look at what Arizona SMU has done this year, let's take a look at their game logs here, what they do. They do have 26 passing touchdowns on the year, and they got 22 rushing, so they can score in a number of different ways. And, I mean, you look at what they've done this year. I mean, they've just run pretty roughshod over teams. Louisville beat them 38-6. They lost their last game of the year at California. I'm sure there's going to be a bad taste in their mouth losing that game. They lost to Wake Forest by 1, and they lost versus Baylor by 3 in a double overtime game. So let's take a look at how many games of their games have gone over and under. Start from we won't count the Texas A&M game because that's a non-major. So 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, 3-3, 3-4, 3-5, 4-5, 4-6, 5 over, 6 under in their games this year. I don't think they've seen a defense like what they're going to see tonight in Arizona. And if you look at turnovers this year, they do have 16. 10 of them have come by way of interception. And if you look at their turnovers defensively, they forced 27 turnovers this year too, 17 by way of interception. So both these teams expect one, if not both quarterbacks to probably throw an interception. I'm definitely leaning towards Jennings to throw one, because if you look at Fifta for Arizona, he has only had 5 interceptions on the year, so I trust him a little bit more. I like him more as a quarterback, and I think he's a better quarterback than Kevin Jennings. Okay, let's take a look at the stats for SMU here. Okay, who does it on the ground for them? Derek McFall has 4 touchdowns on the ground. TJ Harden has 7. Kevin Jennings has 4. Chris Johnson has 4. They have 22 on the ground. If you look at receiving, they got a couple guys that got 5+. 2 guys that have 5+ touchdowns. Jordan Hudson has 6. Ymir Knight has 5. And then you look at Matthew Hibner. He has 4 there. They do have 48 touchdowns from scrimmage, so they're right there with Arizona in that regard. We look at defensively. Isaiah Smith leads the conference or the nation in tackles for loss, 17. I believe that is for his conference that he's in. That's what the bold lettering is there. They do have 34 sacks on the year. That's 13 more than what Arizona has, so that's very, very interesting. They have 77 tackles for loss, 17 interceptions, 10 fumble recoveries, and 9 forced fumbles. This cap is coming back towards the SMU side. And if we look at kicking, both teams have horrible field goal kickers. We got Sam Keltner here. He's 13 for 19. He's only marginally better than the Medina for Arizona. If this game comes down to a close game where a team has to win by a field goal, you don't know necessarily what you're going to get. And if we look at the punter here, Wade McSparran, okay, he's got 52 punts on the year and he's only averaging 42.6 yards per punt. So neither field goal kicker is really reliable, and neither punter is good to really flip the field. If I'm going to make this call here, I do think that the under is going to be my stronger play, so I'm going to go with that. Wager Detective is going to call it here, 6:49 p.m., January 2nd, 2025. Under 54.5 is my stronger lean in this game. If I had to lean towards the side, it's hard to trust either one of these teams. I really don't know. They're both 0-3 coaches in bowl games, so 0-6 combined. If I was to look at this good game could be a 24-23 type game. That's how I'm kind of drawing it up. So who's going to be the one that wins? Either way, I think you're safe with that 1.5 points. I know Arizona did move from dog to or favorite to dog, and I usually don't like following steam like that, but the more I'm looking at these numbers, it's just tough. I'm going to make my final prediction call here, the stronger lean, under 54.5. This is Wager Detective, 6:50 p.m., January 2nd, 2025. Calling under 54.5 is a solid lean for the night. And then if I had to take a side, it's really just a toss-up. The line is really spot on. I would lean towards Arizona. I know that could be a trap. I would probably take the 1.5. So that's going to be the call, under 54.5, and then Arizona plus 1.5, with under 54.5 being my very much stronger lean here. Wager Detective signing off. I'll talk to you soon.